All right, everyone, let's get started. My name is Christy Rufino, and I'm super excited to be spending time with you and sharing how you can use your superhero story to attract, maintain, and help more clients while also boosting your revenue. You may have heard of other projects like this, other types of collaborative book projects. Well, first of all, I'm sure you've heard of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. That is a wildly popular book that's similar to this, that shares a whole bunch of great little stories. And how ours is different is we have actually figured out a great way to leverage that type of a book for business owners who want to use their story to connect with their clients, as well as have a book to build their business. So I don't know if this is you, but what we found is some of the people that really, really gravitate towards being in our book are coaches, consultants, advisors, definitely speakers, professional service providers, and ambitious entrepreneurs, and actually so many more. I hated to put this list up because it seems exclusive. And we've had all kinds of people. We've had a CEO of a major company be in the book. We've had people that are heads of nonprofit organizations in the book. So we've had a variety of type of women in our various books. But the bottom line is we all have a story to share, and we all need to share it. What we're able to do is show you how or help you take that book and use it and leverage it to get more exposure. So in the next 40, probably 45 minutes, I'm going to go through a step-by-step game plan that I use with my clients to help them create a loyal following of clients who want to work with them over and over again. Is that you? Are you looking to build a list of loyal fans that will want to hire you, buy from you, and refer business to you? Do you want to become positioned as an expert in your industry, increase your USP, your unique selling proposition, and charge higher fees? And are you looking to gain credibility and recognition from your peers and trusted referral partners? Do you see the value in becoming a #1 Amazon best-selling author? Would you like to receive multiple points of on and offline exposure? Would you like to gain access to CEOs, VIPs, media heads, and celebrities? Because you can with a book. And I'll show you some of those, how you can do that, as well as attract media interviews, affiliate partners, get more speaking opportunities, and then enjoy additional revenue streams and that this will become a starting point for you to add on additional products. So I am really to boil it all down. I'm going to show you my game plan that I use with my clients, and I want to use with you to add a book to your portfolio quickly and affordably. So I know you're busy, and I know you probably are on this webinar because you're curious, but I challenge you to stick with me throughout this whole training. I'm going to show you a great opportunity, but more importantly, I am going to show you or give you ideas of things you can do even if you decide that you don't want to work with me. But if you do, I would love to show you and help you leverage your superhero story to attract, maintain, and help more clients while also boosting your revenue. But throw your phone aside, be present, and just be open. I've helped dozens of women do this. I've actually interviewed, oh gosh, almost 200 women throughout this process and helped over 100 be in a collaborative book of some sort, and it does work. So just hang with me, carve out this next 40 minutes, be present, and be open to learning about some new things that you may not have learned before. And this is Tiffany. I want to share with you a few of my clients. Tiffany is an amazing woman. I've known her for quite a few years. I actually knew her for a couple of years before she was in one of my books. And she started on one journey, but she found her calling. She knew because of her family, circumstances in her family that led her to learn a lot about gluten intolerance. And she learned so much that she put out a gluten book, a book about recipes and teaching people how to live a more gluten-free lifestyle. And she, I think, only had one book at that point, and then she joined our project, and she was able to share her journey, how she became really known as the gluten-free mom, and she has built her brand around that expertise. And so what I love to share about Tiffany is that she did have a book already before she joined our project. She did see the value in being in a project like this to really connect her story to her brand. And she is, if you can see here, gone on to add 11 more. She's got 11 books in her Amazon store or under her Amazon author bio. And she has just put out so many different things, recipe books, and just a lot of valuable information to her clients or to her audience. And then that has brought her to, if we'll back up one screen, to be known as the gluten-free mom. And you can see here, she was at this was actually last year, she went to Florida to be featured at a gluten-free expo. And she has done a bunch of things like this. I can't even list all of the different opportunities she's gotten now that she has branded herself as a gluten-free mom. But Tiffany's amazing, and that is just one example of how my clients have positioned themselves in something that you can also duplicate. So is this for you? Some months you do make great money, but you just can't seem to maintain it. Does that sound familiar? You wonder every month where your clients and sales are coming from. You know your work is worth more than what you are currently charging, but you're afraid to charge more. You're afraid if you charge higher fees, you won't get any clients. You see others in your industry making the kind of income you want and you deserve. You're working real hard in your business, only to feel tired, frustrated, and burnt out. And you set huge goals for yourself, but you fear that you may not be able to accomplish them. Do any of these things sound like you? Well, I tell you, the real problem, it's not even that you don't have a book, but it's that you don't have a strategic revenue generating game plan. You need to be building your brand and positioning yourself as an expert. So there you go. You need to be recognized as an expert in your industry. Everything that you do in your business needs to be positioning you as an expert. Your brand, your website, everything you do, you need to have your messaging all focused around the problem you solve for your clients. You need to have a tribe, a loyal following of current and future clients, people who want to get to know you, people who want to do business with you because they connect with you and they have similar beliefs that you do. You have a superhero story. Everybody does. Everybody has lots of stories. But you need to look at your past and pull out the part of your past, the stories in your past that is related to your expertise and the problem you solve for your client. That is a story you need to share. That is a story that's going to help your clients really recognize that you can help them solve their problems. You need to have a duplicatable process to share your genius with the world. And then you need to have an automated system to attract and convert those prospects into high-paying clients. So there are lots of pieces to this puzzle. Lots. And I am going to show you one. I'm going to show you one. But let me tell you first a little bit about who I am. Again, I said before, my name is Christy Ruffino, and I am the president and founder of the Dynamic Professional Women's Network. We are a multi-chapter, industry-exclusive, referral-focused networking organization based out of the Chicagoland area, but we have expanded into other states. And I'm super excited to just see how amazing this organization has developed, and the great friends and mentors I've made along the way, and the people that this has helped grow their business. So the Dynamic Professional Women's Network, or DPWN, you can find us online at ourdpwn.com, or you can Google Dynamic Professional Women's Network. But it is a very, very amazing network for women to connect, unite, and build their businesses together. I'm also a 5-time Amazon best-selling author. I am a business strategy coach. So right now I am going to teach you one piece of the puzzle, how to leverage your superhero story, but there are so many other pieces, the other pieces that I mentioned about building your expert brand and your automated systems and how to build your own tribe. Those are all pieces. But what I do as a coach is I work with my clients to really direct them in putting all those pieces together quickly so you get the results right away and you start bringing in income in right away. So I'm also a speaker, but enough of all this, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to hear about who I am in the business world. I want to share who I am in my personal life, and you can see these are the loves of my life. This is my family. These are my dogs. Well, we have one dog now because one of them is not with us anymore, but I still love him. He's still the love of my life. And my motorcycle, I love riding my motorcycle. And then as we continue to go counterclockwise, we have my little grandson. He is now 5 months old, and he is so adorable. He's the best baby ever. And then up at the top, this is my granddaughter. She is 1.5 years, and she is the best granddaughter ever, but she is definitely not as good as my grandson. And I will show you one little example of that. We all have our hands full with her, especially her parents, but she was taking a nap. This was a couple of weeks ago. And everybody thought, her mom and dad thought she was sleeping. And then at a certain point when they started hearing her make noise, they figured, oh, great, she's done with her nap. And they went in to get her. And what she had done is she had slipped her hands through the crib was pushed up against a dresser because we didn't, dressers can be kind of dangerous. So we've got this one little temporary dresser in that room that holds a bunch of scrapbooking stuff. And she had taken her little hand and squeezed it between the bars of her crib and kind of pushed the crib back far enough where she could pull a little drawer open, and she pulled out a couple ink pads from my stamping days. And she had decided that that was a lot of fun to play with the ink. And so not only can you see that did she put the ink pads in her mouth, but she put her hands on them, and then her little grubby hands went everywhere, all over the walls, all over her crib, all over her toys. So it was quite a mess. So she is definitely a wild child and a very creative soul, and her name is Scarlett, and I love her. So I share that because it is very important to have a balanced life, and having for me, the three top areas of balance that I'm constantly trying to maintain is my family, my faith, and my health. Can't have one without the other, and you can't have one be more or less than the other. So it's really important to be balanced in your life as well as balanced in your business. And I want to spend a little time here because it's so important for your business to be balanced. First of all, you need to have a great cash flow. So many times women feel that they shouldn't focus on money. And I know I was like that. I got the organization, the Dynamic Professional Women's Network started because I was already in the mortgage industry and I needed to get out and network. I needed to get out and make serious money because I was a single mom trying to support my family. And I was trying to get in a networking group. I couldn't because back in that day, there were so many people in the mortgage industry that I couldn't get in an industry exclusive leads group because the mortgage category was not open in any of them. So that's how DPWN started. And for the first couple of years, actually for quite a long time in that organization, I never focused on money. I just focused on serving. And I focused on making and building a great organization. I put every penny back into the organization to keep building it bigger and better and have a great website and more opportunities and all kinds of awesome things. And it was really, really hard for me to transition my mindset out of serving to serving and make a profit at the same time. And that got me into a little bit of trouble. So I am focused differently now. I feel 100% confident in charging what I'm worth and having pricing be, a valid point because you get what you pay for. And I know when I work with my clients, when my coaching fees were lower, I wasn't getting the clients that were committed. And I'm sure you've seen the same thing when you start charging cheap prices and give out sales and all these things to lower the value of or lower the pricing of your services. It also gives a perceived notion that the value is also lower. So it is okay to charge what you're worth. It's okay to focus on how much money you want to make, and you need to keep that cash flowing because if you can't keep the money coming in, you can't keep doing what you're doing. So it's important to focus on cash flow. It's also important to focus on adding value, providing great content, great resources, great services, great products. You have to be adding value, and it's okay to give more value too. I mean, there's no reason why you can't, under promise and over deliver. So you always want to make sure you give great value because if you don't, you won't have repeat customers. And then finally, you need to have freedom. And this is really important. And I think the area that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is they work too much. They're spending too much time in your business, working in your business, even working on your business, that you're not able to step away enough and have those creative juices flow. And I know this, I see this with my clients, I see this with myself. If I am not able to kind of get away from my business and recharge my battery and, think creatively about how to continue to be better and how to continue to make bigger goals and achieve bigger goals, if I don't have that time and space to do that, I end up by being a hamster in a hamster wheel and just running and running and spinning, and that doesn't get anybody anywhere. So you absolutely have to be balanced. You have to optimize all three areas equally: the cash flow, adding value, and freedom. And this is actually my principles for my coaching program, Geniosity, and this is taking your genius and your generosity and leveraging them both together for a great, great profit. But enough about that. Let's continue to talk about you and how you can use your superhero story to attract, keep, and help more clients. And this is Michaela, and she has done just that. You can see this is a collage of pictures of her journey. She is, or she was, a bodybuilder. And then throughout that, she got really, really sick, and she ended up by having shingles, and actually she's got quite a few other things that going on with her. But she was able to, get through that obstacle in her life, get through that challenge in her life. And you can see in the top picture, she has come back to be stronger and fitter than ever. She still has health issues that she's constantly working through, but she's not letting them stop her. And she's actually right now in the process of writing her own book. But she wanted to get her story out there. She wanted to have a book in her hands as she's going out and doing her competitions. As she's got her own studio, so she sells her book at her studio. And her clients have really gotten to know her in a whole different level by getting to know her story and how she got through it. And it's inspired them to also get through the obstacles that they're going through. And so that's really been this book has been a really key part of helping her continue to build her business and build her brand. And when she has her own solo book, that's going to even help it more. But there are so many things, so many benefits in a best. There are so many benefits that you can have in being a collaborative book that you can't get anywhere else. So stick with me a little bit longer. I'm going to go through that with you and how you can have those too. So I want to tell you about a little bit about our project. This is our very first book. This came out in 2013, and there are 22 women sharing their stories in their books, in this book. You can see the next one. All of the books have 8 women on the front, and then they have the images of the rest of the women in the back, and we have had up to 24 women in the various books. Each book has a different theme. You can see the second book came out in 2014, and then the third book, Strong Woman, came out in 2015. And that one has 19 women sharing their stories, and they all have different themes. We've got the first book. When I put out the first book, I never planned to continue to do more, but it was so successful. But I decided to keep going with the whole project. And so we've got our next one, which is the Courageous Woman edition, then the Strong Woman edition. And then last year we put out the Remarkable edition. And this book has 24 women in it. And right now we are working on our next book that is coming out this year, 2017. And this is Resilient Women. And you can see the amazing draft of the book cover. And the women that are on here they're actually the women from the last book, but we wanted to make sure we had a good visual representation of what this book is going to look like. And the women that we have already for the front cover, we do have some of the headshots in, but they're not all in. So we're going to hold off on finalizing the cover, but you can see it's a beautiful cover. Strong, powerful women. You can see she's out there, she's resilient, and the women in this next book are all very, very amazing women, just like you. And we want to invite you to be in the next book. So you can see these are women from our last book. We had a big conference every year. We have one every year in October in the Chicagoland area. And some of the women were on stage with us, so that was a great celebration to be able to acknowledge all of the authors in that project on stage. So what will you get for being in this book? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the benefits and how you can leverage your book. But I want to show you a little bit about some of the benefits, what you will get by being in this project. First of all, you're going to be a part of a group of women that you can foster new relationships and create new opportunities with. You're going to have the power to make an impact with others by sharing your story. You're going to have instant exposure and credibility with your new published author status. You're going to have your own powerful tool for marketing you and your business. And doors will be opened up for you to new opportunities, speaking engagements, and partnerships. Also, you're going to have your story in the book. And whether you're on the front cover or the back cover, it will be 2,000 or 3,000 words. We provide basic editing and formatting of your story. You'll have a complete author bio inside the book, along with your photo and your business contact information. And on that same tone, I really recommend and coach all of the authors to have some sort of call to action. How can the reader get a hold of you? What will you give them by getting a hold of you? I know some of the authors have done really creative things to encourage people to visit their website, get some kind of a free report, something, an ebook, something that they will get some sort of value from you if they jump on their computer or their phone and connect with you. And I have lots of ideas on how you can do that, actually lots. And I will tell you in a minute how you'll get all of those great ideas. But you also get an ebook, an electronic version of the book for you to sell on your website. You'll be a part of our Facebook community group that's just for our authors. And you'll have a unique page feature on our website with hyperlinks and customized SEO. You'll also have your photo on the front or the back cover. You'll get lots of exposure on social media for you and your story. You'll have a prepared press release announcing the launch of your book, as well as a media pitch with multiple story angles for you to use with your local press and news people. Plus, we provide and implement a marketing strategy that will help you become a #1 best-selling co-author of a book on Amazon. And I will say we've been able to achieve #1 status on every single book that we have published in the Overcoming Mediocrity series. Well, we've pretty much been able to accomplish it with most of the books we published, but with these books, we have accomplished the #1 status in the very first day. And we have a 5-day window to make that happen in this promotion. And we can't, of course, guarantee that we'll hit that because we don't know at what point Amazon will, if they will ever change their algorithms. But the bottom line is we feel very confident because we've had a great track record of hitting #1 in the very first day, and we're pretty confident that we're going to be able to continue doing that. So imagine having your own book. Imagine going out to networking events and being able to have your book in your hands and either give it to people that you're networking with or selling it to people, being able to say you're a #1 best-selling author on Amazon. Imagine being able to share your story with others in an attempt to help them, an attempt to inspire them to overcome the challenges they're going through. Imagine having your story in the hands of your clients so they can connect with you better and be more loyal to you and want to help you grow your business by giving you referrals. So there are so many benefits that you can take part of once you become an author. And you can see here, these women joined me at a interview at the Morning Blend radio station, no, TV station, I'm sorry, in Milwaukee a couple years ago. And we have had throughout this project multiple opportunities for our members, our women, to be able to get exposure and press from being in this book. So we don't know what's coming around the corner. I know we were featured in Inc. magazine in this last book, and I know we've got that great opportunity again for this book, where we have one of the writers of that publication. They did a story, an article about our book, and featured a quote from each of the authors. So that's really cool to be able to have a quote from our story in Inc. magazine. But the opportunities are endless, and it's just about getting out there and using this as a way to build your brand. So I know you may have some objections, and this is where I want to go through some of the common objections that I've heard from people that I've talked to about sharing their story. First of all, I think the number one objection that I hear is that your story is not special enough. And I get it, because that was my objection too. When I was asked to share my story, I said, hey, I went through what I went through. Yes, it was tough, but who wants to hear that? And who cares? And it really isn't that big of a deal. And I think as women, we tend to, have an obstacle in front of us, and then we just buckle down and we get through it and we do what we have to do, and we don't want recognition from that. But I will tell you, if you can share your story and help just one person, isn't it worth it? That was a question I was asked. Christy, if you could share your story and help just one person, why would you not do that? And I had nothing to say to that. Absolutely. I got out of my own way and realized that, yes, what I went through was difficult. And what I went through and if I shared it in a way that could help other people, then it's definitely something that I want to do. So yes, everybody's story is special. Everybody has a story, and I will help you figure out what part of your story to leverage in a way to leverage so that you can use this as part of your business building strategy. The next thing is your story is not related to your business. And that I get a lot is somebody will say, well, yeah, I went through this, but this has nothing to do with my business. And maybe not. So that's where we're going to have to take a look at your business goals, the focus of your business, and the various stories in your life. But I will tell you that even some of the most horrific stories that have nothing to do with business have the commonality of being able to still be resilient, persevere, and the tools that you learned as you got through that challenging part of your life, I'm sure some of those tools have been transferable to the business world. So, there's always a way to find out how to connect your story to your business or to the values of your business or the skills that you learned throughout that challenge. So I've not found a case where we've not been able to make the story work for your business. So don't worry about that. It is, your story is who you are and how you got to be who you are now in this point of your life. So it's definitely relative. The next objection I have from people is that they're not a writer. And I will tell you, I actually have put together, now in the first book or two, I probably wasn't the best at this, but I have learned how to guide people and help people to put their stories together. And I have a roadmap, a kind of a template that will help you really determine, first of all, what is your area of expertise. Then we really focus on connecting through your story, like what part of your story will support the goals that you want to provide for your clients. Then the couple teaching points that we really focus on. There's just a whole template that will go through the various steps of putting your story together in a way that is going to add value to the reader. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we have when we share our story is we just go through our story from our perspective, and we kind of go through our life and the challenges, and sometimes just go through the problems, and we forget that we're sharing our story for the purpose of the reader to learn from us and be inspired by us. So we have to step out of our own way and then write our story in a way that is going to be focused on providing tons of value to the reader, because really your story, sharing your story, is all about them. So we will help you through that. And if you kind of just get completely stuck and say, I can't do this, we do have a couple writers that we can recommend to you that will interview you and then put your story together. So no worries, it is something that is not going to be an issue. And then finally, I don't have time, or maybe not finally, but the next thing is I don't have time to write my story. And even on the front cover, it's only a 3,000 word story. So I think once the women get started on their story, they realize, wow, that's not enough. They need more. They need more space to be able to write their story. But what we want to do is have your story told in a short, impactful way. And putting your story together with even 3,000 words is only about 4 or 5 pages of type on a Microsoft Word document. So it's really not a lot of content. It shouldn't take you, like, I know it took me like a half a day to put my story together initially. And then I went back and revised it a couple times. Since that first time, I've had to do multiple stories as I do each book, and each story is more related to the book and how the book has developed. But that takes me a couple hours to sit down and put your story together. And so think about this. A typical blog article is about 900 words, 600 to 900 words. So you really only need to write maybe 3 blog articles to be able to put your story together. I'm talking about space. So as far as how much content you need, you don't want to have 3 separate articles or 3 separate stories. But if you look at people's blogs or read people's blogs, it shouldn't take you too long to put together 2,000 or even 3,000 words for in your story or about your story in the book. And then the final objection that I have is people say that they can't afford to have their own book. And of course, having your own solo book is very costly, even if you self-publish. And I do recommend, if you take the time to write your own book, do not go the self-publishing route without help, because there are a lot of mistakes that can be made, and there are a lot of corners that you can cut to make it less expensive, but you're not going to put out a quality product and a product that's going to really represent your brand. So just get help, get support. There's a lot of resources out there, but even if you do it yourself without any support, it's still going to cost you a couple $1,000s, because you have to have everything edited. You have to have a designer lay it out. You can't put a book out there and do all the pieces yourself. It will you're completely wasting all of your time by doing it that way. You want to get expert help. So even if you outsource it, you're going to still be investing a couple $1,000s into the various experts you need to do their pieces of the puzzle. And then if you work with a publisher, it could be anywhere from $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. So, having a book is not a cheap venture. But being in a project like this is very affordable. And it's going to take a lot less time on your part. All you have to do is write your story, and we do everything else. Plus, you get a lot of benefits being in a collaborative book that you don't get by having your own book. And the number one thing that you get, well, there's a couple things you get. You get tons of marketing. So when you have your own book, you don't get any marketing for your book. You put your book out and then it just sits there. So unless you've got a great marketing strategy and a marketing budget, you're not going to get your book out into the world. So we do that for you. We get you tons of exposure and get your book out there and get a lot of people to get your book and your story in their hands. In addition, I think one of the best things about being in a book like this, not only that you're collaborating and you have an opportunity to network with other amazing like-minded women, but those women are also getting your book into the hands of their audience. So the reach when you're in a book like this is so huge that it is definitely one of the valuable points that people don't necessarily recognize until they're actually in it and they start getting contacted from people that read your book from other resources. So this is Linda. I want you to meet Linda. Linda is an amazing woman. She is one of the authors of our very first book, and her whole career she's been in the dental field, and she was a speaker and a trainer to at various types of dental industry conferences. Okay, so I know she's worked in the industry for a long time, and then she's transitioned to doing some speaking and training. And up until she was in our project, and she actually did 2 books in that same year because she recognized the value of being in a book like this. But until then, she didn't have a book. So she was doing these talks, and she didn't have any way to make money at it from the people there. She didn't have any way for the attendees to connect with her afterwards. So she has not only gone on to continue to speak and charge and sell her books in the dental space, but she's also created her own and launched her own consulting business. So she has definitely used her books as a way to build her brand and to continue to grow her business and help more people. So I want to go over a few numbers here. With traditional book publishing, what happens is you get royalties on your book sales. Even if you put your book on Amazon, and if you sell, our books retail for $19.95, I believe it is, $19.99. And if a book at $19 or $20 is sold on Amazon, you get a royalty, a small royalty, about $2 or $3. And that royalty is completely dependent on who buys the book and where they're buying it from. So there's different channels on Amazon when you put your book on there that will give you different royalty numbers of payments. And anywhere, when you work with a publisher, generally they own your book and they own the rights and the copyrights to your book, and then you get royalty payments from them. And what we do it differently. We basically are self-publishing the book. You retain the copyrights to your story, ownership of your story. We copyright the whole book to protect it, but we do not own the rights to your story. We cannot use it in any other way. And that being said, we have created a way to provide you the books at wholesale pricing, and that way you make 100% of the profit on each book you sell. So if the book is $19.95, the cost per book is about $5. It's not usually that much, but depending on how big our initial book order is, that will determine the cost of the books. But generally, say being very, very conservative, the books cost about $5, which means you make $14.95 per book sale. So you can see here, as far as if you sell 10 books, you're making $150. If you sell 50 books, you're making about $750, and so on. So this is really the best way for you to make the most profit on your book sales. So that's really cool. I mean, even if you go to a networking event and you sell 10 books, you're walking out with $150. A lot of associations will allow you to speak and want you to speak, but they don't pay you. They want you to come in and speak for free, which, you know, that's not bad to do if you're in that place in your business and you want that practice, you want that exposure. But my gosh, don't do it without having the authorization from them to be able to bring your books with you and sell them if somebody wants to buy them. So, you know, if you go to a chamber of commerce event and you speak to a room of 100 people, you'll at least sell 10 books, which is great because you'll walk out with a little bit of, shoe money in your pocket. So this is really the best way for you to make money off of selling your books, and also recognize that selling book sales is not going to make you rich, but it is a way for you to make some decent money if you have a great way to sell your books. Then I want you to look at the value of a client, because the bigger goal in this is to be able to leverage this book in a way that's going to get you more clients and higher paying clients and get you more loyalty with your clients so they continue to do business with you. So I don't know what the value of a client is. And again, I'm being very conservative here. Most clients, the value is even worth more than $1,000. But let's say this is a monthly value. I don't know. But you can see here, if you have, even at the lowest point, say a client is worth $300, and if you get 10 clients out of this from the exposure you get and the different benefits of being in this book, then gosh, you're right there making $3,000 right off the bat. So you need to look at the value of your clients. You need to look at how you're charging, and this is just a one-time thing. You're going to have this book forever, and you're going to leverage it for a long time. So as the months and the years go by and you start adding all these numbers together, and if you go back and keep track of all the business that you get from this opportunity in the various ways, you're going to go back and look in hindsight and see, wow, that I made a couple $20, $30, $50,000 from that opportunity. So that this is a way for me to really show you numbers, like concrete numbers, and how you can get tremendous value out of this. So I don't have enough time to go through all of the different ways for you to leverage your book and make money, and that's not the point of this webinar. But I will tell you, if you do work with me, I put together a From Print to Profit digital home study course, and it's on my website. You can go buy it. It's $397, and it goes through 12 very, very detailed ways that you can leverage your book to build your business, all the way from list building to getting in the door with big potential clients, getting through the gatekeeper, and opt-in pages on your website, and sales funnels, and there's just so many things. I went through 12 actually I went through more than 12 because I had a couple bonus ideas that or bonus strategies that I threw in there. But this course is actually free to anybody that is in our Overcoming Mediocrity books. And I will tell you that this is, I just put this together on our last book, and the feedback that I've gotten from the authors and just seeing what they've done with it, how they've implemented all these strategies, has just been amazing and really cool to watch. So you definitely get that completely free, and you can go buy it if you decide to not be in the project, because even at $400, you get tons of ideas that will bring your, you'll definitely recoup your investment on that. But I want to invite you to share your story in our next Overcoming Mediocrity book. And you can see how beautiful the cover is. I would love to have your headshot on the front cover or even the back cover. I know we only have a couple openings left for the front cover at this point. I think 2 right now. So depending on when you're watching this video, there may not be opportunities left for the front cover, but I do encourage you to highly consider it. Even in the being on the back cover, you're going to still get all of the benefits. You can actually get all the benefits of the whole project other than your pictures on the back cover, and it's a little more economical. And I will tell you, a lot of the women prefer that because they didn't feel they needed to be on the front cover for them to be able to still get all of the benefits. So there's, depending on what you're looking for, I want to invite you to be a part of it. How it works is, the next screen here, I'll go right to that. You can go right to workwithchristy.com. It's going to bring you to a sales page or a landing page that has a few options, and one of the options is for you to schedule a call with me. And that's the first step, is I really want to get to know you. I want to first make sure that we do have openings in this book, and then I want to get to know your story and talk to you about how your story fits in with your business and how you can leverage your story to really, really build your brand. And then once we do that, then we just will have you put your story together. We've got some instructions for that. I have a great book that will go through the whole process, as well as my roadmap to help you, the template really that will help you map out putting your story together, kind of outline it in a way that will make it really easy for you then to write it and fill in the spaces. But what you do is you basically just write your story, and then you're done. We do everything else. We will work with the editor and you to, we'll work with the editor to get your story edited, but then you approve everything that they want to do. And then we work with the designers. We work with everybody to put this. We have a whole team of experts that do their part of the puzzle. And then we will have the book out. We're looking to have the book out sometime in June, which is just a few months away. And then we will put you out in social media. We'll do everything we can to edify you as a business owner, as an author, drive people back to you, your website, your Facebook page, wherever you want us to drive people to you and find you, we will do that. And that's it. I mean, we will do the Amazon bestseller campaign. There's just a whole slew of things. And what you can do, I'm going to go to the next slide, is here is the landing page that will take you to the link to schedule our call. And then right next to that, where it says share your personal power stories, learn more, you can click on that bottom box, and that will show you all of the details about this project, all of the benefits, everything that's involved. It will show you, the cost, cost per option. I'm not going to go into the cost right now because I don't want anybody committing without me talking to them first and making sure it's a good fit. But once we know it's a good fit, then we'll talk about all the costs associated with the investment in this. But you can go to that page to learn about all of the details about what is provided and get all the basics, because I know some people really want to know all of the details. But again, you will get free, as a bonus, this From Print to Profit Digital Home Study course free, plus anybody on this webinar is going to save an additional $397 off of that price, that the investment for the project. So if you're really anxious and you absolutely need to be in this next book, because we do have limited chapter availability, and I know once this webinar gets out there, my calendar may be a little full. Doing all of these calls, and I can only talk to so many people in a day with everything else. With my coaching clients, I've got to be able to squeeze everybody in. So if you absolutely want to reserve your chapter, you can go ahead and do that. You just put in that code. It's right there, save $397 today, and that will give you that instant discount. You'll automatically get the free home study course. And because there is limited chapter ability, when I see that come through, I will expedite. I'll get, do what I can to get you on a call immediately. And don't worry, and it says on that, when you go through that process, it is completely refundable if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, or you think it's not a good fit, or we think it's not a good fit, or there are no more spaces left. we will just go back in and reverse that charge on your credit card so it won't even be processed. But you also have an option to just reserve your chapter for a $100 deposit. So either way, everything is on that page. No worries, everything is there. I do want to talk to you, so again, schedule a call with me, and you can find that on workwithchristy.com. And I really want to thank you for hanging out with me and hanging in there for this whole call. I'm not sure how long it actually took. I think we did great on this one. This is my second recording because the first one I did and it was over an hour, and I'm like, no, I can't go that long. But if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me, and I would love to talk to you and learn how to help you leverage your business, even if you're looking for some business strategy and business coaching. This book is a part of the puzzle, the big puzzle, and the whole big puzzle is to build your brand in a way that you're going to be seen as an expert, and you need to have all the pieces in place. So love to work with you on that. And again, look forward to talking to you, and thank you very much for hanging out with me, and have an amazing rest of the day.